Hello, everybody. This is Samir from 3dinstitute.com, and today we will be talking about philosophy. So, who is not interested in the topic? It's just, you can watch it, but I will skip so many things that you should already know. So, in this very first part, I'll just try to basically say in short that I watch, I clock, I am a clock, and you are a clock, and everybody is a clock. And in Serbian, Bosnian, Croatian, in the Slavic languages, because I come from Novi Pazar, which is in the Balkans, we say I am in terms ja sam, which is I jesam, or for now we say sad now, which would be the definition of being would be I now, which means in Slavic languages would be ja sad. And how this come? How where did this come from? This is my answer, or kind of both a review and a critique of Heidegger's work, Being and Time. And in this book, Heidegger analyzes the problem which actually exists from the beginning of the records of ancient Greek philosophy of Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and it follows until today the quest of ontology, which is kind of a quest for proving existence using only logic, without avoiding any kind of interpretation, in terms of avoiding any kind of resource, but just relying on what a being, a person, a human can relate to without any doubt. And as you know, there are things that are common for all of us. We have some notions, some concepts, some ideas that we share, and because of this sharing, we understand each other, and we can talk with each other about things without many explanations, and without explaining every word. So the thing is that the critique of true philosophers who remained honest to ontology, their idea was and is and will forever be that first, that probably the hope that proving existence is possible, the totality of being, and the other, in general, the belief that there is a logic, behind our being, that's not left undefined and left for interpretation, that everybody can be, what he wants to be, and so on and so on. So in general, this is a kind of a struggle between the ontology and hermeneutics. In short, I will say that for me, this is that ontology is also an interpretation, but an adequate interpretation. and this is another topic, what's adequate interpretation, and if this is true that ontology is just an interpretation. But this, I'm just saying this first, and then I will just try to briefly say something about it. And what's the Heidegger also points this out, but and he refers to Yorke. Or I think so. I didn't googled him much, but it's some German philosopher. And I like this that they finally describe all this try of all the sciences, especially social sciences, to describe the beginning of kind of man of civilization in the human sciences, to find the root in them. That you actually go and you have so many information and so much registers and so much records, and people go to African tribes, who never experienced the outer world, to observe them in order to find some primordial thing, knowledge about our existence, about ourselves. And this is hermeneutics. It's a kind of it's focused on interpreting what's outside in the world. And this is fine, it's okay. It shall not be like some of the ontologists, let's say, would like to erase all of the other sciences. Some reckoning shall be done, but the interpretation itself, the ontology, is a kind of a, let's say, maybe even the science of the interpretation is ontology. How you interpret things, and how you work out things, and how you work out information. So it's like this is this kind of primary duality in terms of understanding the way how the existence shall be reckoned and understood at the first place. So to come back to Heidegger and Being and Time, what the title of the book accounts for is that the time is a part of being, of the totality of being, of totality of existence. That each of us has a component of time within ourselves. That we are essentially time. And this he proves in first, let's say, 400 pages. Very, there are ontology, it's very hard to be perfectly accurate regarding ontology throughout 400 pages, but the effort he did is amazing, and I think it's still not understood, properly in the Western world. And the thing is that he proved ontologically, like using only logic without referring to anything outside of logic, except as giving an example for clarification, or just to reflect the idea, which is rooted primarily, which communicates, circulates within the nervous system. Yeah, the space of ontology is nervous system as a as an object, and as a subject. It's a subject of the research of thinking about thinking, and so on and so on. So it's a specific story always. But to come back to time, the man. So Heidegger understands that each of us have its own private time. We are essentially built up from time, but each of us separately. And until this point, he is right. And I don't know, you can, if anybody would like to read what I wrote and sent to a couple of professors, you can comment and I will send it to you, and I can send you the quotes. And so it's, I mean, we, anybody who's interested in more of this and having some more information can contact me, and I can just deliver anything. Um, so he was wrong at that point where where he was left now to describe how this abstract notion of time, which we still are made of from, but it's still abstract and without a kind of a presence in terms of actuality and being present and being actual, and being at the hand and being present at the hand. So how come this abstract notion have existence among, how it reckons and coexists with other um, kind of with other beings? How it come? And he just, this is, it's very hard question. That's why now I'm also having a problem defining it, because and he jumps into the sun. He just again makes the same mistake as philosophers since Aristotle were doing, but not kind of a mistake. It's just a level of emancipation which is inevitable in terms of, you always need to go through path until, and this kind of wisdom. So he again, he's left with the unknown. He has something, he discovered time within the being, uh, but this temporality of now, of of now being one component, but the other one is, which he skips and goes into sun and clocks and so on, is the body and the breathing. And this is for me a little bit, amazing that that he discovered so much, but he just didn't hold on to what he discovered, because our bodies are kind of mechanisms, clocks actually. We are a clock. Our body is a clock in terms of mechanisms that have rhythms and circulations, and many of them, most of them, we don't control, but we can just have control over couple of rhythms. And one is breathing, let's say, which is, as I mean, is evident and obvious how breathing is important for being, for independent. When I say being, when Heidegger says as a being, he's referring to um, a specific person, a human being, a person, a man, a woman. So this is a being, and this being, as a being, as a person, a man, me, for example, I'm a totality. So I have a kind of a definite boundary until which I will say stop. Yeah, it's hurting me or something like this, or go or refer something as mine. So this is being, and it's evident that it is a kind of a totality. It's a heterogeneous composition of some elements, and it's enclosed to us. That's why we are a totality, because if we understand the components, we are then, if we are one of the components, we are not this whole being. So this is another story, but just to explain what's being with big B. And yeah, he skips this idea about body being the body of this time, body of the clock. like when we are the clock, and the breathing is one mechanism, one rolling. Then we have the breathing, which is another, and they synchronize. I mean, they are like in the clock. We have so much things that synchronize, and at the end we have a, kind of a result of having the time displaced. I mean, the moving of the I don't know what's the needle, yeah, on the clock. We see this is one thing that when Heidegger gives a remark about the clock, as actually when we watch at the clock we see the needle moving. We don't see time. The time is it's just so abstract, and it so passes away in a way that we just can see the needle moving, and then we need to go to past, and in our memory, and then see how much time has passed since the last time we seen, and then see, and then think about our meeting in the future, and then think how much time we left until the future. So this is how time kind of I mean, the nature of time is a different story, a different thing, but I'm trying just to stick here to this very first couple of premises that are troubling the Western world for 2000 years, and they are now in big crisis actually, because they accepted, they kind of maybe they got tired, maybe they got tired because, as Heidegger said, that Kant, maybe he was the last one to think that it's ontologically possible to define being, to logically just support the being, and yeah, so we are clocks, each of us. We can say that we are clocks, and then we can talk about anything else. But as we are talking, time is ticking away, our times. And who is watching this? Your time is also ticking away. And when some and we just kind of a you if you're watching this and you're understanding me, just I don't know. I mean, it's also another story for itself. But somehow we matched our watches. Somehow our watches matched, and this is the thing. So this is first video. I think I will be placing more, but it depends how much people will be interested in discussing things, because this first thing that the being equals clock, the totality of being is a clock, is something first that needs to be grasped, because it shifts so many things and so many beliefs present in science, in philosophy, and many things. So each of us being a separate clock, but this like clock being made out of body and having this time. And this time, again, we cannot grasp our time. We can just see it as breathing, as beating of the heart. Of course, the sun, the movement of the sun is as well a part, but of some bigger clock, a mechanism of some other clock. But we, for ourselves, we are clocks as well. And this is the first kind of idea, a stable idea of an answer, first proven answer on the question of who am I? I am a clock.